Flying through the trees, swimming through the sea. We're having some fun. We're taking the plunge.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Taking the Plunge. I'm your host, Jessica Ruxton, and today we are going to be talking about the happiest place on earth. I have today with me my friend Julia.
Hello.
And we will be talking about living and working at Disney World, which we both have done. So in case you didn't know, that is actually a thing you can do. You can move to Orlando, Florida, and you can live at Disney World and work there. Julia, how did you hear about this program and why did you want to do it?
I heard about this program through tourism and travel at St. Clair College, and I was there for 6 months working, and it was a great time.
So I did the program too. I heard about it because I am a huge Disney fanatic, and so I was looking up how to work at Disney World, and I came across this program, which is exclusively for college and university students. And so I did 1 year of university, and I worked at Walt Disney World for the summer. And so what you do is you obviously apply and you fill out an application, and if they like you, they call you for a phone interview, and then if they like you after the phone interview, you do an in-person interview, and then they offer you a position. So Julia, what was your position at Walt Disney World?
For the first 3 months, I worked at Columbia Harbor House, which is a quick service restaurant in Magic Kingdom, Liberty Square. And then I was transferred to Epcot Food and Wine Festival. And there I worked in the Germany Pavilion and the America Pavilion. And then after that was done, I was transferred to attractions at Magic Kingdom, working on the Aladdin ride, Swiss Family Treehouse, and was it the Tiki?
Oh, the Tiki Room.
Tiki Room. That's what I did.
So with Julia, since she was in college, they offer a 6-month program. What month did you start, and then what month did you end?
I started in July, and I was done at the end of December.
I'm in university, and so I just went for the summer break. And so I started in May, and I went until August. So I was there for about almost 4 months. And my position there was attractions, and it was so fun. I worked at Finding Nemo the Musical, which is located in Animal Kingdom, and it was so fun. I was one of the people that greet the guests when they come, and I also seat them, and I answer any questions. I would stand outside the theater and give directions and try to get people to come into the show. And then while seating people, one of my favorite things to do was kind of get the crowd pumped up. So I would stand... it was tiered seating, and so I would stand at the very bottom, and I would start singing Disney songs to get everybody excited, which was a lot of fun. People seemed to really like that. So I mentioned that for the application, you have to do an online application, obviously, and then phone interview, in-person interview. How was the process for you? Because ours might have been different since we kind of did different programs, me being in university and you were doing the college one.
Ours were basically the same. First, we got an email to do our phone interview after we applied. And then if they liked us they let everybody through on the phone interviews to go straight through to the in-person interviews. And then we had a bunch of people from Walt Disney Company come to St. Clair College to, first we had a little orientation, and then we went in individually, and we did our program through Central Michigan University, so we got credit for being there instead of being at school. So we had to do some classes through Central Michigan University, but we had to meet with the people from Disney as well as the people from Central Michigan, because our grades had to be good to get into the program.
So when you say you had to do credit for Central Michigan, was that online or?
Yeah, mostly. It was just like little assignments, like a little paper, or we would have to go do like a Disney like workshop that we would get credit for.
Okay.
So it was all like fun stuff, and it was super simple. I think we had like an assignment due like each month. So like it wasn't anything like extreme.
Yeah.
And then we had to do like the Disney courses when we were there. So we did like Disney Heritage was what I did, which was
Okay.
fun. It just teaches you like all about obviously like the culture and the heritage of Disney
Right.
World and like Walt and like his family.
Yeah, I had like my roommates were kind of doing the same thing as you. They were American and they went for a semester of school, so they had to do some courses while they were there. And in case some of the listeners don't know, there's actually a place located on Disney called Disney University where you go to take your courses. I didn't do that because I didn't miss any semesters of school to go. Mine was strictly during summer break. But that is an option for college students and for American university students and college students in the United States as well, to go to Disney University and take courses there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned my roommates, and me and Julia kind of had a different experience. So tell me about your roommates and how you chose them and how the experience was with that.
Well, I only had one roommate, and she was one of my best friends from home. And we got to choose who we wanted to be with. You could either do like randoms, like I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. And her and I, we already were with each other basically every day because since we were in college together. So we just figured everything would be easier if her and I just lived together. So that's what we did. We lived just in like a 1-bedroom apartment at Patterson.
Patterson is one of the buildings that Disney has. So on the Disney property, they have different apartment complexes. So Julia lived in Patterson. I lived in the complex that was called Vista Way. And then there's 2 others called Chatham and the Commons. So you lived at Patterson with one roommate.
Yes.
So how was that?
It was good.
You chose to live with somebody that you went to university with just because you didn't want to end up with a roommate that was like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Her and I had kind of like a weird relationship while we were there. We really didn't talk for, I want to say, like the first month that we were there, and we tried to avoid each other a lot of the times.
So it was like stressful at first when you first moved in.
Yeah, because we were constantly trying to avoid each other. So I would either be like, she would be at work while I was home. Like we'd always just like miss each other kind of.
It's hard too because people might not know, but when you work for Disney, you work long hours. Like it sounds amazing to go work for Disney because you're basically living there.
Yeah.
But you are working full time, sometimes over 40 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes your shifts can be like 13 hours long. And you worked at Magic Kingdom, and I know working at Magic Kingdom, that park opens the earliest and closes the latest.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have like, what is it called?
Extra magic hours.
Extra magic hours, which they stay open for certain guests. And they're open until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so sometimes we'd be open till, I think the latest would be 3 o'clock in the morning that the park would be open to.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because if you're working and the park closes at like 3 o'clock, you're there until like 4.
Exactly.
Because you have to close up and everything. Yeah, so my roommate experience was different. When I did the program, I didn't apply with any of my friends. And so, I mean, I met other Canadians at, the interviews and everything, but I really wanted to make friends when I went, and I wanted to interact with other cultures and everything. So I didn't choose my roommates. I let that be random. And I ended up living in Vista Way, and I had 5 roommates, and they were from the United States and from Mexico. And it turned out to be like a really great experience. I didn't get along with all of my roommates, which is fine because I got along with most of them. I mean, that'll always happen. You'll find people you're not really compatible living with, but I lucked out with the roommates that I did get along with because they're some of my best friends. And I mean, I still talk to them every day. And one of my roommates that I lived with there is from Ohio. And I went to go visit her a couple weekends ago. And I've got one of my roommates was from Mexico. And so if I ever want to go to Mexico, I have a place to stay. And it was just a really great experience doing that. like I said, I didn't get along with some of my roommates, but that was also kind of like a growing experience. I had not lived with people that I didn't know before, and so that was like a real experience for me. I've never experienced, not getting along with somebody that you live with, and so it was a real experience. I really enjoyed it though. I lived with like different backgrounds and cultures, and it really makes you be kind of tolerant. So that's something you can do. You can request roommates, or you can live with randoms, as Julia said. But both have their pros and cons for sure. Because like Julie was saying, she went with one of her best friends, and the first month she was there, they didn't get along. So there's always pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, like I definitely regret not like being placed with like random people because I didn't make like too many friends there. And a lot of the times, like me and my friends, like we were bored, like the ones that I went there with, that we were in school together. So obviously I already knew them, but like we didn't meet too many new people. I have some friends from England that I still keep in contact with. But other than that, like there's nobody that I really talk to anymore.
Right.
And like I think that the experience would have been 10 times better if we would have like branched out.
Yeah.
And if we would have put ourselves out there more. And like when people from work would ask me like, oh, like come out with us tonight, blah, blah, blah. Like I wish I would have said yes.
Like all the time.
Yeah. Instead of saying, oh no, like gotta go home, like whatever, because I would just be bored. And like I would sit there and I'd just think about my family and I'd get homesick.
I definitely, like when people are applying, I totally recommend, like even if you're going with friends, like don't live with them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like your friends like will be there. Like you can hang out with them whenever, but if you live with them, you kind of just stick to those friends.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Whereas if you lived with people you don't know and your friend lived with people you don't know, like that's a group of friends that you live with, and then another group of friends that like your friend lives with, and it just like make connections with all these different people. So me and Julia, we both did through our university, where she did a semester and I did the summer break. But if you are from a country that has a pavilion in Epcot, you can go and be a cultural representative. So what that is you go and you live at Disney World for a year, and you work at the pavilion of what country you're from. If you are from Canada, Epcot has a Canadian pavilion, so everybody who works in the Canadian pavilion is from Canada. They also have Morocco and France and Mexico
Italy,
and
Norway, Germany.
And so if you go there, everybody who works there is from that country, which is really cool. So having worked at Disney, other than wanting to live with not your friends, what's something you would do differently?
I would have just taken advantage of everything so much more, like the Miami trips, being able to like go to like Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure because it's so close to you,
right?
Like going out at night, and there's so many things that I regret not doing while I was there. Like I was saying, like not like hanging out with like the people that I worked with more, because like I know that I would have loved the program a lot more.
Like I totally get what you're saying. Like you would just like go back to your apartment and just like stay in, because like the work is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like long days and you're on your feet, and it's like you are constantly like on when you're there. When you work at Disney, when you are working, you are on stage.
Yeah.
Like that's what they call it, because you are essentially a performer. You have to give these guests the best experience they have ever had. And so when I was working, I was always smiling and happy and so excited and talkative. And then when I would walk backstage, like on my way home, I would just like exhale and be I'm so tired. And so what you want to do is just go home and relax. But like it's definitely worth it, especially if you're there for like just a little bit. Like I was only there for less than 4 months. And so when I was there, I really pushed myself to do things. Like I would be home and my roommates would be like, well, let's go and do this. And I'd be thinking in my head, I totally just want to go to sleep, but I'm going to do it because I'm here. Yeah. Like this is like an experience of a lifetime. Like I don't want to miss out on anything. Something that I would do different for sure was I would bring my own car. The bus system. Oh
So
my
bad.
God. TransStar.
Oh my God.
The worst. I was on the bus one time coming home from work, and the bus caught on fire.
Yeah.
They had to pull, like, listen to her reaction. She's not even surprised.
not
That's
at
just
all.
a thing that happens.
Yeah.
The bus caught on fire. So they pulled over to the side of the road, got us all off the bus, and another bus pulled up and put us on and brought us home. But it's like nobody was even surprised.
No.
They pulled over and everybody's like, oh, the bus caught on fire.
Yeah.
Let's get off.
It's not a big deal. I can't even tell you how many times I'd be on my way to work, and the moment we got on the highway, so many buses from TransStar that I would just see in the middle of the road on the side of the road because they broke down all the time.
And they were never on time.
No, never.
And sometimes they wouldn't even show up.
Yeah.
Like, you would work a 12-hour shift, and you'd go stand at the bus stop, and the bus would not come. And so you're looking at your bus schedule, and it's like, oh, it's supposed to be here at 7:15. It doesn't come.
Nope.
And then you're like, okay, the next one's supposed to come at 7:55, and then it doesn't come until like 8:15, and you're like, I've been standing here for over an hour. I just want to go home.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Oh, the bus system is the worst.
Yeah, especially if you work at Magic Kingdom. There would be so many people waiting for the bus, and not everybody would be able to get on.
I know. And that happened to me one time when I was working.
It's the worst.
Because the bus was so late that everybody who got there for the first bus had to get on with the people who got there for the second bus, and there was just not enough room.
Yeah.
Like, people would be sitting, standing, and then the bus driver would be like, I'm sorry, we're at capacity, you can't get on.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous.
It's literally heartbreaking to know that you can't get on that bus and get home yet. It's heartbreaking.
You have to wait for the next one. Oh, it's so hard. And then it took me almost an hour every day to get to work.
Yep.
And the buses aren't synced up with your schedule. So if I started at 10 o'clock in the morning, I would get to the park at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Because the next bus would get me there too late for my shift.
Yep.
So I would definitely bring my own car.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
One of my favorite parts of working at Disney was creating what's called magical moments. And working at Finding Nemo the musical, we had limited seating, and so sometimes we would have people like reserve a certain area, which you can do. We have like a reservation area where you can sit. You can call ahead and reserve that. And if they didn't show up, they would tell us, go to the very back row and find a family and bring them to the VIP section. And I loved doing that so much. And I was actually talking to somebody who applied for the program this summer. There was a Facebook group, and somebody had posted a survey that they filled out, and it's like, what is your favorite attraction and why? And this guy put, I love Finding Nemo the musical. And I had commented on that, and I said, I used to work there. Like, I'm so glad that that's your favorite. And he said, yeah, when I went there one time, my sister and I were sitting at the back row, and somebody had come and brought us to the VIP section, and it was just amazing. And I was like, that warms my heart that that's like something you remember, because it's such a simple thing for me to do, to just be like, hey, family, do you want to come sit in the VIP section? But like, that's a memory that like lasts a lifetime for them, which is so, so great. Because Disney World is expensive. Oh, yeah. And the people who work there, they realize that. And so even in training, they tell you, like, families coming, like, some families save for years to come. And this could be, like, their only time they can come. So make it as magical as you can. Yeah. Which I loved doing. I loved making magical moments. It's heartwarming.
Yeah. There's not a day, though, that, like, I constantly am, like, wishing to, like, go back and go to the parks and to just, like, go play.
I know. I'm always talking to my old roommates, and if we're having a bad day, we're just like, let's go back to Disney. Yeah. Let's go work at Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, working there, that was my first time I've ever been to Disney. So for me, I remember at Christmas time when I was there, and when I walked into the park for the first time to see it all decorated, I stood there in Magic Kingdom and I cried. Because it was so beautiful. I know. And, like, it's so, like, it sounds, like, cheesy to say. It's saying that it's, like, magical. But it literally is magical when you walk in there. Yeah.
I know. The first time that I watched Wishes, because, like, I had been to Disney World when I was younger. I think I was 5 when I went with my family. So I have, like, memories here and there. But when I went to work there and I watched the Wishes fireworks show for the first time, I started crying.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't believe that I live here.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I can just like come here and just watch this, and I get to experience this. And
Exactly.
it's just, it's so magical.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is.
So me and Julia, I think, as you can kind of tell, we highly recommend.
Yeah, definitely.
We highly recommend doing either the Disney College program or the Cultural Representative program, because it's really an experience of a lifetime.
Definitely is.
Because as much as it was hard and we had like bad days and stuff like that, looking back, like we don't even remember the bad days.
No.
It's just it was just such a great experience, and I can't wait to go back. So thank you so much to Julia for talking with us today about Disney.
Welcome.
And this has been Taking the Plunge. We'll talk to you later. Bye.